Okay, so boys, we yesterday did Tzadik Sheni Gomer. And I explained to you the concept of a Tzadik Sheni Gomer. He has Ra. He has a Yetzer Hara. But his Yetzer Hara has no effect on his practical life. Yetzer Hara simply affects him on deeper levels, on his emotional levels, intellectual levels, his super intellectual levels, and so forth. And a Tzadik Sheni Gomer has work to do. A Tzadik Sheni Gomer has to become closer to Tzadik Gomer, has to fix himself on one level above and a second level above, and so forth and so on. And a Tzadik Sheni Gomer has a huge milchama in his own way. But a Tzadik Sheni Gomer has no practical board. The rule is that how does a person know where they stand? And the answer is it depends on how much they hate evil. A Tzadik Gomer hates evil absolutely. A Tzadik Sheni Gomer hates evil to the extent that he has nothing to do with the evil. But when the person has evil in themselves, a person who has evil in himself cannot hate evil completely. To hate evil totally, you have to have no shaykhus evil whatsoever. And the lashon is Ayavad Hashem Sinura, that the love for the Eibishter, the hate of evil are equal and opposite. So a Tzadik Gomer loves Hashem absolutely and hates evil absolutely.
It gives an example of kosher.
Of what?
Of kosher.
The what?
If you have like 60 pieces of kosher meat, and one piece is not kosher.
Right, that's bittul. He says it inside the Tanya, right? A Tzadik Gomer hates evil completely and loves Hashem totally. I think I told you yesterday, so with the Menachem Chernobyl, that they put one down tray for milk, chalavakum on the table, and he didn't see it. He asked for the milk. They said, Rebbe, the milk is on the table. So when he realized that the milk was sitting in front of him, he didn't see it. He said, "Chalav shechalav yakum when yisrael milk, which is milk by a goy, and a Jew doesn't see it." This is a lashon for Shulchan Aruch, for the Gemara, right? The Gemara says, what's chalav akum that a Jew doesn't see the milking? And he types with pashtus, when a goy milks a cow, since it's safe, a yid doesn't see it. And that is nicht. This is a madreg of Tzadik Gomer. Because the Tzadik Gomer's hatred for evil is such that it's nicht b'metzias. Okay, so the way it works is that there's all these different levels in Tzadik Sheni Gomer. The constant is that there is Ra in him, that is kafah for batla tev. He has evil, but the evil is nullified to the good. In other words, it has no practical manifestation in terms of machshava dibur nomaisa. But he has to be invited his Ra. And as I said to you, the distance between Tzadik Gomer and Tzadik Sheni Gomer is far more vast than the distance between Tzadik Sheni Gomer and Beinani. Chacha Filu, it doesn't seem that way to me and you. The highest Madrega Tzadik Sheni Gomer is closer to Beinani than Tzadik Gomer. It's another realm. Because Tzadik Gomer is v'teiv lei, has no evil. So the Rebbe Vehine, it's about 10 or 11 lines from the bottom at the end of the line. Madrega Zu, this level of imperfect tzaddik, mischalakes l'rivaves madrega. It is divided up into myriads of levels. Rava means technically tens of thousands. Be'inyin bechinas miyotara, in the idea of the level of miyotara, of the smallness of Ra, hanisha which remains, me'achas me'arba yeseidas harayim, from one of the four evil elements. There's different levels of bittul. Right, Inyan bitule, and in the measure of its nullification, muta in its insignificance. Whether it's b'shishim, it's nullified by 60 good al derech mashal, Abela for 1,000, or Ravav or 10,000, okay, al derech mashal, and so forth. Says the Alter Rebbe, v'hein in all these levels of tzaddik v'ra loy, are b'chinas tzaddikim arabim, the various many different levels of tzaddikim shebachol aderes that exist in the various generations, which the Alter Rebbe argues are different madregas in tzaddik sheni gomer. Gemara brings the Gemara. The Gemara says the Tamnesa Alpha Tzaddik Kamei there's 18,000 tzaddikim that stand in the level Kamei Hakadosh Baruch before Hakadosh Baruch. With that Gemara also there's a mention of 36 tzaddikim, Lanvav tzaddikim, and the Gemara speaks about tzaddikim that are Aili Babar and Aili Baleibar. In other words, tzaddikim who could come into the Eibishter only when they have a special reason for, as opposed to tzaddikim who cannot come into the Eibishter, can come to the Eibishter anytime they want, and so forth. Before we continue, you know that Lakut Sichas Chelik Dalet, and we just started on the Pikiyavas Peidik Dalet. The Rebbe has a Sicha where he enumerates 5 levels inside the Gomer. 5 levels inside the Gomer. I don't remember all of them, but there's Tzaddik Zelim is the highest, then there's Bnei Aliyah, then there's the Aili Baleibar, and then there's the Aili Babar. There's 5 levels, and I believe that Tamnesa Alpha Tzaddik is listed there, but here the Alter Rebbe includes it in the Madreg of Tzaddik Sheni Gomer. Finish with Tzaddik Sheni Gomer. However, Al-Mal Tzaddik Gomer, we talk about a perfect Tzaddik, and a perfect Tzaddik means not the Harasha Beikaf of Latev. He's perfect. His evil has been transformed into good. He is godly through and through. He has 2 Yetzer Tevs, not a Yetzer Tev and a half-dead Yetzer Hara. 2 Yetzer Tevs completely. Says the Alter Rebbe, Hu Shamar Ashbir, Rabbi Shimon Yochai says about such people, the Isi B'nei Aliyah. I have seen people who have on the level of Aliyah, of ascent. They've risen above everybody else. Right? They've risen above the Yetzer Hara. They can fly. They have no heaviness. The Yetzer Hara gives a little heaviness. They have no heaviness whatsoever. V'hei muatim, and they're few. B'chuli. Which is why they're called people of ascension, because they have transformed the evil, and lifted up to the madrigas of holiness. This is written in the Gdama of Zayar. When he wanted to go up to Rashim Yechoi, Shama Kala Nofik V'Yami heard a voice that came forward and said, Man Menchain, who amongst you that has transformed darkness into light, V'Taim Merira, the taste of bitterness, Lamiska into sweetness, until you've done this, do not trespass, do not come here. So this is Tzaddik called Bnei Aliyah. They've lifted up everything from their world into Kedusha. Their Nefesh HaBahamis is Getlachkeit, they're completely God, there's nothing about them which is worldly. The point is that until the two dots, we talked about Tzaddik Gomer, and described Tzaddik Gomer as a person of ascension, of lifting upness. So the Alter Rebbe ve'ed.
This says in Paragal that didn't have a Yetzer Hara.
No.
So that means the Yetzer Hara wasn't transformed into Yetzer either. No?
Okay, there's a ha'ara from the Rebbe. That in Tzaddik Gomer there's two efanim. On the V'li B'chol B'kibi, das min Chelik Av, there's a ha'ara from the Rebbe that in Tzaddik Gomer von Azav says, Ma'apach if they've was hagetem. But I've cooked in a wenig. It's not fresh in my mind, but the Rebbe talks, it's Mashmos says that in Tzaddik Gomer in Bnei Aliyah. And what is that? Mipnei Shegam Aveidosam B'Bechinas Vasei Tev. That when they do Teira and mitzvahs in this world, okay, when they do mitzvahs in this world, and learning Teira and doing mitzvahs. Now, remember, Aveidas they have no shaykhs to. You cannot say that you by the Tzaddik Gomer Yoshav Aliyavar Aveida Neism Leschar Ki Asa Mitzvah. Hat sich shaykhs mit dem. They check Tanya Perich of Zion. Like Suru Achel Levavchem Neim Em Tzadikim Chas V'Sholem. So a Tzaddik Gomer, you can't speak about Sur Midah. He has no shaykhs to that. Only Asay Tev. So when the Tzaddik Gomer does Asay Tev, listen to these words. Kva Yochel, he's doing the Eibush a favor. Bnei Aliyah doesn't only mean that he's lifted up. Bnei Aliyah means he's doing Aliyah a favor. When it's Mazir Azvei. Who l'tzeirech gaveit for the sake of Hashem. U'mayla adruma mayla is higher and higher till the highest levels. That Kavayachal he's doing a lakus a favor. V'lei kadei l'davka be'yizbarach b'vad, not only to attach himself to the Eibishter alone, which is l'raves, to satisfy tzimoy and nafsham atzmei l'Hashem, the thirst of his spirit, of his soul, which is thirsty for God. As the pasuk says, hoy is like cold tzami. Anybody who's thirsty, l'chulamayim, go to water. A tzaddik gomer is not thirsty. He's living in water. His whole mitzvah is Abba B'Tanugim. Tzaddik Gomer is intimate, is one with the Eibishter. If a person's a Tzaddik Gomer is one with the Eibishter, you cannot say that Teira Mitzvahs is to bring him closer to the Eibishter. He's one with the Eibishter. So B'meila B'nei Aliyah doesn't mean only that he becomes one with the Eibishter. B'nei Aliyah means that he serves everything he does is doing the Eibishter a favor. In other words, why do we exist? We exist to get out of here. We exist to go up. Everybody, a Beinani, a Baal Tshuva, a Tzaddik Gomer, all different Madreigas, a Tzaddik Gomer is up. His avoid is backwards, not to go up, but to bring down. Punk faket. We all want to become attached to the Eibishter. Tzaddik Gomer is trying to attach the Eibishter with us. There's other places. But a Beinani. Ella. What's a Tzaddik Gomer? What's Bnei Aliyah? Kitapirusha b'tikunim, it says in Tikun Ezehu chassid, who was considered a chassid, amis chassid, im kene, who does chesed with his kene. Kene means with his creator. Im kandele. Kandele means with his nest, with tachtayim, in other words. That a Tzaddik Gomer's existence is liyachta, to unify kutsha b'richos shchinte, the kutsha b'rich, and the Eibishter b'tachtayim, to bring it down milmaila lamata, from the top down. The Aveda of a Tzaddik Gomer is opposite of everybody else's. We exist to become attached to the Eibishter. Tzaddik Gomer exists to attach the Eibishter with the world. Yes, you guys know Mistam Zicher, the classic Hasidic idea. Benegea to Teira, right? That the Gemara says that there's two madregas limud Teira. The law of madrega limud Teira is called Teira Savaye, right? Asher ish halach batzat hashayim v'derech hatayim layomad. Ki b'Teira Sadei Shem chavtzei u'b'Seira Say Yego Yem V'Alai. So it starts off saying Teira Savaye, and then it says Teira Say. It's his own Teira. So Chassidus explains it's based on a Gemara. The Mikara, the Gemara Masechet Pesachim. Mikara, Kikara, Inish, Adayta Denafshi Kikara. When you start learning Teira, you're doing yourself a favor. In the end, you're learning Teira Lishma. Translates Chassidus. What's the Pshat Adayta Denafshi and what's the Pshat Lishma? Adayta Denafshi means you're learning Teira to your neshama should be attached to the Eibishter. Lishma means you're learning Torah, do the Torah a favor. As Chassidus explains it, when a Yid who's in a Madrege of oneness with the Eibishter, he learns Torah to connect the Torah with the Eibishter. This is the Madrege of Tzaddik Gomer. Tzaddik Sheni Gomer, most people, Yiddishkeit is for them. Tzaddik Gomer is already one with the Eibishter. Yiddishkeit is Kvayachal for an Eibishter. He brings the Eibishter into this world. This is the Pshat, B'Teirah say, Torah and Kras al Shmei, it becomes your own Torah, because it's Lishma. You're not learning Torah because you need the Torah, you're learning Torah because Torah needs you. This is the Madrege of Tzaddik Gomer. Another dogma for this is V'Ahavta. V'Sheter Chumash. It says in Torah, V'Ahavta Hashem Elokei, love the Eibishter, right? What's the first touch of V'Ahavta? You should love. It's a mitzvah. You're commanded to love. Another touch of V'Ahavta is, it's a promise. You will love. But there's a third touch of V'Ahavta. And the third touch of V'Ahavta is make others love. She'yehei Shem Shamayim is Ayiv al Yodecha. People should love God because of you. The Rambam calls Avraham Avinu, based on the Psukim, Avraham Oyavi. Avraham my lover. What's Avraham Oyavi? Avraham Avinu was one with Atzmos Moshe Yisrael Baruch Hu. Avraham's Ahava is the touch. He made others love. This is Tzaddik Gomer. Bnei Aliyah doesn't mean he's on a higher level. Bnei Aliyah means he's on a level where his avodah is to bring the Eibishter down, as opposed to attaching himself to the Eibishter, which is the avodah of most people. It's in other words, it's an opposite life. And he explains. It says that like a son. That he makes efforts for his father and his mother. He loves them. He loves his parents more than he loves his own garmei, his own goof, his own body, bones, and his nefesh, and his ruach, and his neshama. Gives his goof away for death on their behalf. To redeem them. A tzaddik gomer's avodas for the Eibishter. And he lives to bring the Eibishter into this world, and he puts the Eibishter first. Now, I just want to mention that in Nigla de Teira it's written that a love of a father for a child will always be stronger for a love for a child to a father. I'm sorry, then he's chayiv misa. Here it says forget that a child can love his father more than he loves himself. Tzaddik Gomer, he loves the Eibishter more than loves himself. He exists to bring the Eibishter into this world. That Vibal, they're the Madrega of Elyon. They're already in the Madrega of Ilah. Their avodah is not for themselves because they're already up there, but to bring down. And the truth is, these two ideas are the same. The first idea, till the two dots. Bnei Aliyah means that they lifted everything up to the Eibishter. And the second idea, the Bnei Aliyah means that they don't exist to bring closer to the Eibishter, but to bring the Eibishter into the world. They go together well. That the first pshat was that they completely transformed and fixed themselves. That they fixed up nega. So they brought up waters from below, which affected and they created supernal unions. In other words, they created spiritual dynamism lamaila through the fact that they transformed their own ra and made it into tev and so forth. Lahated mind to bring down masculine waters, which are the waters of kindness, which in each mitzvah in each one of the 248 mitzvahs. Yiddishkeit is chesed and masculine waters. When we do mitzvahs, we bring the Eibishter into this world. The Hainu, this means to bring down the whole into the Eibishter from the higher level to the lower level. To come into the lowest world. So the two ideas of Bnei Aliyah, which sound opposite, go together. The first idea of Bnei Aliyah is for birurim, which is I'm getting out of here, I want to lift everything up. And the second idea of Bnei Aliyah is Kvayachal, I exist to do the Eibish not Teva Kvayachal, to bring a Lakus Lamata, not I. It's how the government exists to bring the Eibish the Mamai Lamata into this world. Says they're never connected, because the birurim that the Tzaddik Gomer did are the basis for the Hamshachas that the Tzaddik Gomer brings Mamai Lamata. So if we think we understand Tzaddikim B'chlal, and if we think that we have any idea what's the pshat Tzaddik Gomer, read this Perek, and this gives you an insight a little bit into the reason why the Shvatim couldn't understand Yosef. They're two different worlds. Tzaddik Gomer and Tzaddik Sheni Gomer are much further apart than Beinoni and Tzaddik Sheni Gomer. Tzaddik Sheni Gomer is a chita mensch, a größer mensch, aber a mensch. A Tzaddik Gomer is kein mensch.